Coming up on Smart Tech Today, Matthew Cassinelli and I have some Black Friday tips for you. The things you should go after, the things you shouldn't go after, and how you plan to shop smart when it comes to the smart home. Plus, we talk about new improvements in iOS, Apple selling a great home security camera, and of course, our picks of the week. It's all that and more on Smart Tech Today. Smart Tech Today is brought to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? Well, LastPass can ensure that they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This episode of Smart Tech Today is brought to you by Mint Mobile. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/STT. And by RemoteWorks, a podcast that tells extraordinary stories of teams that made the shift to working remotely. Search for RemoteWorks anywhere you listen to podcasts and download each episode today. And by ArmorLock. Take control of your data privacy with G Technology's ArmorLock NVMe SSD, solid state drive. Never again compromise speed for security. Go to getarmorlock.com to learn more and get yours today. Welcome to Smart Tech Today, where we explain the exciting, the dynamic, and sometimes confusing subject that is the Internet of Things. I am Mikah Sargent.
And I am Matthew Cassinelli. Hello, Mikah.
Hello, Matthew. How goes it?
Doing pretty good. It's a little bit chilly, but, getting started on the week good. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's a little bit stew here. That's dumb. Bad joke. All right. Let's just do the show because that was not great. First things first, we are getting prepared for not Thanksgiving. We're getting prepared for Black Friday and Cyber Monday and 2 for Tuesday, and whoa, what a deal Wednesday, and that's incredible savings Thursday, and for real Friday. As it continues to go on and on and on and on. I think Black Friday started about 2 weeks ago for some places. Mm-hmm. Amazon certainly is one of those where it seems like, they've, Black Friday's coming up, right? Well, here are some deals we already have available for you. And they may have roped me in on some, but I think that you have a great topic to start the show with today, specific to smart tech products on making sure that you make good choices with your Black Friday sales and don't make poor choices with picking up bad products just because they're available for $2 or whatever. So What are your first tips for us?
I think one of the biggest things with Black Friday is to do your research on what you need beforehand and work backwards from that rather than backwards from what's on sale now, because that's one of the things that always gets you is you want to end up getting the thing that just went on sale and it's, I can save so much money, but you're still spending money that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I think a big thing is to this week ahead of Black Friday or maybe those Cyber Monday deals, make sure to really assess what you need, maybe something that you could get later if it was on sale still. Like, I think that's one of the big things is you should always get smart home stuff on sale if it's available, because it's just the same product for cheaper. And these are the same type of things that you'll be using over time. So I think a lot of times getting a better value and a better product for maybe not the over expensive prices that some of these companies charge can really make a lot of sense. So it doesn't always help if you hadn't prepared in advance to save up for something like this, but definitely this time of year is a great time to buy smart home products. That's probably why all of these smart speakers have come out just ahead. But it makes a lot of sense, especially just being careful, using the tools that can kind of compare prices and really understand, is this a good deal or not? And also taking the time, if you do have time off or just being stuck at home at night when the sun goes down at 4 p.m. Doing as much research as you can ahead of time, and then having that list ready to go is always helpful.
I think we can kind of take a bit of a lesson too from the Thanksgiving holiday itself. You know, you walk up with your plate and your plate's empty and there's all this food out in front of you, and you're telling yourself, wow, look at the way that macaroni and cheese is glistening. Look at the way that turkey's calling my name. Look at the way, and you go and you just pile heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps onto your plate, and you sit down and you start eating and you're, you know, having a great time. But then suddenly, oh my God, there's still so much left on my plate. If you would have planned before you went and got, you know, drawn in by all the food that's there, then maybe you would have figured out exactly what you wanted. You would have got what you wanted. You would have been happy with it versus letting the food kind of guide you in the process. The same thing goes here. If you know what you want beforehand, you're not going to get drawn into those deals like, oh, I didn't actually need a sprinkler system because I don't have a yard that needs sprinkling, but darn it, this Black Friday deal really got me and I thought I could use it. So you just, your eye, what is that? Eyes are bigger than the stomach. I think that applies to Black Friday stuff as well. So I like your tip on kind of planning ahead of time before you set yourself down into that smorgasbord of different products that are available at a less expensive price.
I think also a good thing coming up on winter is lighting. Like I can tell, even I rearranged my office yet again, and over in one side, there's not enough lights, and getting good lighting during the dark winter months can make a huge, huge difference. And if these things are on sale, maybe it's like I might upgrade from some of the white bulbs to the color ones that have that color shifting like we were talking about. So now I'm convincing myself into products. Oh God, I'm doing it live, but it's still, I think it's always, especially if those deals are lasting for like a 12-day period, you can sleep on it. There's not as much of the Black Friday itself, but yeah, it's definitely earlier every year. I was going to say, I've seen Christmas trees up, so that's already starting. But I think one thing that I'm definitely going to invest in now is the Amazon Echo, just because these are on sale now. Like that's always a thing, especially, I mean, Amazon literally invented another holiday just to be able to sell these. So these do go on sale pretty often. And those new ones are pretty appealing and already like $30 off, stuff like that. So maybe now's a good time to get, it is pretty interesting to think about because so many people do make their smart home decisions and go one way or another based on these deals. So this is a very interesting season. We'll save it for the project conversation, but I think because of the HomePod Mini makes it pretty competitive. So it'll be interesting to see how these purchase decisions play out and all the numbers that come out afterwards.
I wanted to try out Amazon's own smart plug. It's available for $24.99 usually on Amazon, which is already a really good price. $25 is a pretty good price for a Wi-Fi connected smart plug. And given that I wanted to try that, I was on Amazon for my normal, shopping, and I saw at the top this banner that said, if you use the Echo device to order the smart plug, you can get it for $4.99, so $20 off. And so obviously I immediately jumped on that. I said, hey pal, order an Amazon smart plug. And it said, okay, I've added an Amazon smart plug to your account or to your cart. I went into the app, it's $4.99, and I was about to click purchase, and then I realized I had talked about Amazon's Key as a recent, I can't remember if it was my project or if it was my pick of the week, but either way, it was the way that you can set it up so that you get Amazon deliveries directly to your garage instead of, on your porch or elsewhere. And I've been using that to get my packages because it means that I actually get them instead of having to go to the postal service and wait in line around a bunch of other people. And they had a promo deal where if you use it, they kind of want you to try it out to see if it's something for you. And so they had this little deal, $20 credit if you try it and use it for the first time. So I tried it, a long time ago. And originally it was that you needed to type in the code word, the promo code, and then you would get that $20 off. So I was kind of bummed out. Oh no, I forgot to do that. I didn't get it. But Amazon emailed me and were like, hey, thanks for trying this out. You have a promo code. So nice. I actually got that already $20 off smart plug for absolutely no money because I had $20 of promo code in my account. So yeah, it was really nice, and I'm gonna get that. It won't be coming for a while because it seems like a lot of people have bought those, so it won't arrive until December 5th. But I am looking forward to seeing how well Amazon's own smart plug works, and if it's low latency and stuff like that as a technology. So yeah, you can really find some good deals. And in fact, I've talked a lot about the oh goodness, I'm going to have to remember what it's called here. The Echo Flex. We've both talked on the show about the Echo Flex, which is this little tiny thing that you plug into the wall, and it comes with these little add-ons that you can put with it. There's one that's a clock. There's one that is a night light, and there's one that's a motion sensor. And then you can use that technology with your smart home. And so these are tiny little Echo ALEXA enabled devices, and they're normally also $25, but right now they're available for just $10. So I also went ahead and ordered one of these, given that deal was available, and I want to be able to try this out as well, especially given that it's such a small, tiny little package, and it may not have. I want to see how well it works. With the whole system, and how it compares to some of the other ALEXA enabled devices from third parties. So we'll see. And what's kind of interesting is that it also has, so the way that it plugs into an add-on is with USB. And so it can actually just be, if you don't plug anything into it, it can be a USB charger. So you can plug your phone into it, you plug anything into it, and it can, so you kind of don't necessarily lose a port whenever you plug it into the wall regardless. So yeah, I think
that's pretty interesting. Because I
really good, go ahead.
I just bought, what did I get? I got a random HDMI thing that needs a USB power, and I was like, oh no, because it's like I have so many ports, so many things plugged in, that getting that with a extra USB on it and then just the Echo anywhere is pretty interesting. I also a tip that I saw online was use the Echo app or the Amazon app to make those requests. You don't actually have to even have a smart speaker to get those ALEXA only deals, which is nice. So you don't have to run upstairs into the right room and yell it at her. You can just open your phone.
And we can't fail to mention that, Amazon is only one place where these Black Friday sales are available. Yes. As today, our TD Burke was talking about, Kohl's also has some good Black Friday deals potentially for smart home products. Best Buy, of course, is going to have deals for smart home products. And then a lot of times the actual manufacturer websites themselves are going to have Black Friday deals for their own smart home products. And so here's my kind of advice to you in general. Look for products that you are aware of brand-wise. If you're going in person, if you're going to, Best Buy, to Lowe's, to Home Depot, go to Home Depot, don't go to Lowe's. If you're going to these different places in person and you are kind of looking for products there, look for names that because it's more likely that they're going to have the kind of underlying connectivity ironed out that can sometimes be a problem with the less expensive products. That's been my experience, at least. When you're shopping online, you have your device right there to do some more research and kind of get some feedback and some real-time knowledge on whatever brand it happens to be. But in person, the Belkins and the Eves and the LifeX and the Lutrons of the world are kind of your go-to brands. So that's my advice for in person.
Fair enough.
Ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. So this is a bit of interesting news. I did a review of Amazon's ALEXA-enabled Echo frames a while back, and I was pretty meh about them in general. And I brought somebody on the show to talk about how they were, for him, they were not meh, but it was an interesting conversation there. And overall, I feel that it was a very expensive product that at that price point was basically giving you a pair of Bluetooth headphones that didn't sound good. So a poor audio quality pair of Bluetooth headphones for, I think it was $180. And now Amazon has actually released this product as a real product. It was a day one edition product, meaning that it was kind of in beta. They released it as a real product. And now it's what, $80 more, is it?
Yeah, $70. Yeah.
$70 more. I am baffled. I genuinely, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious. I am genuinely baffled. And I would love to speak to the day one edition users who sent feedback to Amazon that said, yes, this was a good product that they should release to the masses, because I don't understand. It comes in 3 colors now, and they're working closely, I believe, with lens crafters so that it's a little bit easier to get prescription lenses with them. But you're still getting a pair of crappy sounding. They've improved the audio and they've improved the battery life.
That's what I was going to say.
But if you take audio quality that was as bad as it was and you improve upon that, you're still not getting anywhere with it. You're not getting much higher with it. So they're going to have completely revamped the thing for me to be convinced that this is going to be something that I would ever recommend to anyone, because I did not see the value proposition given how bad they sounded. To spend that much on a pair of Bluetooth headphones, it's not something I can recommend. And so I just don't understand how this became a product, while Amazon's other day one edition product, which was the Echo Loop, I sadly did not get to try. It was a ring that you could whisper to ALEXA with, and it also had a little buzz. It vibrates you for different notifications, and it had kind of a shortcut where you could press it and it would answer a call and stuff like that. There seemed to be more utility to that product than these Echo frames, and yet the frames are the one that made it to shipping. So I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts kind of from the outside looking in? Unless you've got a pair of frames that I don't know about.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I think it's an interesting choice as well. I could see, when you were just talking about the ring part, I could see that one having more technical issues, like reliability issues, just being smaller and round and not like having the space for the frame on the side of your head that the computer can fit in. I also thought that a partnership with LensCrafter sounds more profitable than otherwise not having anyone to partner with. So maybe that's the kind of thing that made this last beyond that. They're still the first company to really be doing frames in this way that's not Google Glass, and Google did buy North. I don't remember where that is in the process of transitioning or whatever. So I feel like this is going to be the category that we're going to talk about next year if there is stuff like Apple products. And so Amazon's got to do something at this point. Maybe they're trying to get in before and iterate while they can, as opposed to coming out with something that sounds bad and then people just don't buy it. So if it does fix the speaker thing, and I mean, the utility too is to pair of glasses with your prescription in it. I think it's funny, the part where it says that if the microphone is off, there's a red light on your face, which just, like, I get it, but also it seems odd that you're broadcasting that you're not recording is like a weird thing. So it's just constantly on or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I also just imagine it's like, oh, sorry, my glasses died. Like, sounds funny. Obviously, they'd still work. And like, it's not like a prescription doesn't go through or something.
I can't see you. My glasses
you just have,
died.
You have like chunky frames on your face. I think some of the stuff of like, it can automatically start playing based on how loud the noise is around you and stuff like that is interesting. But I agree, for $280, I mean, it's around how much glasses would cost. So maybe that's how they're justifying it. And they don't look terrible. Like, they look like actual glasses. I think seeing them in real life would be interesting. But it's pretty fascinating that it graduated from the day one edition into this real product category, though. So it's got to have some sort of legs. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, all the photos are, if you look at them, they're very strategic, where it's like, doesn't quite look that chunky, but it's just like, if you put it on your face and look straight into the mirror, you're probably going to see it. So it's a very personal product category. But I think the ring being dropped probably does make sense. Those are a lot cooler in theory, but then it's like you're holding your hand up to your face to take calls, and I don't know, maybe that area just isn't worth it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Google does with Focals by North. I want that to become a real product for sure. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and move on here.
Sure.
The Google Assistant continues to get improvements, and now you can schedule different smart home actions. So one of the things that you can do, and I really like this, is, you're in a room and you know that you're about to leave for a meeting or something like that. That probably isn't accurate in our modern world, but you're about to go downstairs.
Go to another room for a meeting.
Yeah, for a meeting. Go to meeting in this room. You're going to go downstairs and make lunch. So you say, hey, G, turn on the lights or turn off the lights in 15 minutes. And so that way, you can leave the room after 10 minutes and you know that in 5 minutes after that, it's going to turn off those lights. So I think that's kind of cool. And another one is, you could schedule for the next day. Hey, G, turn on the lights at 7 a.m. Another one, run my sprinkler in a week at 5 p.m. That is, I think, pretty incredible. So within the next 7-day period, you can set up different automations that take place. That seems maybe like it's a small thing, but reading that is pretty doggone cool, because it's something that you kind of have to do some work to set that up in any other way. And I don't know that a lot of them
automation.
Yeah, exactly. So for it to be just sort of a simple as I just talk to it and tell it to do this thing, that's pretty powerful. So pretty cool, huh?
I agree. It's like single serving automations is a big thing. Like, I think that's one thing that's always bugged me with Siri and the Reminders app. If I say, remind me when I get home, it's like, cool, I'm going to remind you every time you get home forever now, the same thing, even if you check it off. Doesn't, like, there's like 4 use cases that I could think of that, and the rest of them I want to remind me next time I get home. So that's not the exact same thing, but I think some of that smarts beyond just the literal part makes a lot of sense. Even reading this article, sometimes I come across these, I'm like, wait, this stuff couldn't do it already? It's like, it makes sense that it's not technically that capable yet, but when you think of smart assistants, you think, why couldn't it just do that? Like, it seems very logical, but that I'm looking forward to this coming to all the platforms. Right now, it is just Google Assistant, and Echo can kind of do it. Siri can't really, so I'd love to see that for sure.
Yeah. And then last but not least, this is another kind of, I love when you get the addition of smart speak or smart display stuff that makes it worth the cost. Because I think smart displays are pretty pricey, but it's a smart display and you should be able to use that screen to watch content. And so now Disney Plus has been added to the Google Smart Display lineup. So that includes, of course, the Nest Hub Max. So you could be like, hey, G, play Beyonce's The Gift on Disney Plus. And then Beyonce's The Gift on Disney Plus starts playing. That's good.
I also just put this in here because I totally have been. I got locked out of my Disney Plus account for like 3 weeks because I think they hacked in through the Disney account member services, which gets tied to your Disney Plus account. But it was pretty funny because I've been wanting.
Someone hacked you?
Yeah, they hacked that account and then it took over the Disney Plus account and then they changed the emails and stuff. So it was like some alternate account that they had low security and didn't have the 2-factor that the normal accounts do. So I got it all resolved. It was funny because Disney was like, give me your like date of birth and zip code. And I was just like, no. And then they fixed it anyways, because I was like, this is clearly my account. It's associated in iTunes right here. I just purchased another year of this while my account was hacked just because it's on auto renew. And so they finally just like changed it back and I was all right, which was nice. But yeah, it's now got Disney Plus. I can watch Star Wars on my lunch break if I want to. And I also recommend The Mandalorian if people have not watched it yet, because that is such a good show. It's very like everything I wanted as a kid with Boba Fett. They're just doing it now, and it's awesome. I don't even watch it with my girlfriend because I'm totally enjoying it by myself, just being like, yes, yes, yes. So that's awesome. I love it.
I love, my partner and I have been watching The Mandalorian and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm still kind of baffled of all the things to hack. Why that, yeah. I wonder.
I literally assumed it was somebody who had a family and wanted to get Disney Plus for a year. Like it's like $100. I don't know. But they totally used the Gmail trick where they do their own email plus something for the account. So I wanted to just email them and be like, "You suck." Like, I know.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
I can see that this is your account. Like,
oh, Lord have mercy.
No, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't.
Spreading positivity in 2021, not negativity.
I like that you even kind of went into it with a certain level of positivity. Like, I don't know. They wanted to, they wanted it for a year. I get it.
He wants to watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, let's take a short break and we'll come back with more news. I wanted to let you know that this episode of Smart Tech Today, it's brought to you by the Fox. Who's the Fox? Well, it's Mint Mobile, of course. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can definitely be found and can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, guess what? You're going to get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you safely order from home. Ooh, that's nice. And maximize your savings with plans starting at just $15 a month. Listen, I have been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I've got to say, for you, is the perfect time to switch. I have had Mint Mobile. And here's the great thing about Mint Mobile. You get the SIM, and then you pop that bad boy into anything you want to use with it. So I have gone from using it on an iPad to popping it into an Android device that I have, the Google Pixel 4, and then another iPad, and then an iPhone 12 Pro, and then back to an iPad after that. And it just immediately works, gets connected. I had 5G connectivity on my iPhone before I ever had the iPhone that I was going to be rocking, full time because of Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile makes it so simple and it costs so much less than those big carriers. And when I think back to the headache, the absolute and utter multi-hour headache that I had trying to get activated on one of those big carriers with my main phone, that's all the more reason why Mint Mobile is so ridiculously awesome, where I could just pop in that SIM and everything was good to go. In fact, they saved my tuchus when I was dealing with that issue because I had to place a call to my carrier, but my phone number wasn't working. So luckily, I had my Mint Mobile SIM, so I was able to actually place that call and get the thing ironed. So I thank you, Mint Mobile. Not only do you cost me less money, but you've been so much simpler than the big carrier. Listen, Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is this one right here. For a limited time, buy any 3-month plan and get 3 more months free. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, that is how Mint Mobile passes significant savings onto you. That's how they can offer those 3 extra months free. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, unlimited talk and text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. That's T-Mobile. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. And listen, if you're not 100% satisfied, don't you worry about a thing. Mint Mobile has you covered with its 7-day money-back guarantee. Switch to Mint Mobile, folks. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month for a limited time. Buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/STT. That's mintmobile.com/STT. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month. At where? It's mintmobile.com/STT. Thank you so much, Mint Mobile, for saving my skin, for saving so much money for so many of our listeners, and to those new listeners out there right now who are subscribing. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. You know, as the winter season rolls around and we go from being absolutely, utterly hot and sweaty to being absolutely, utterly cold and chilly, it's time to talk about energy savings. And there are products out there that can help you with those energy savings. And some of those are also HomeKit-enabled accessories. This is a great article over on imore.com by Christopher Close, who writes all about the smart home and the HomeKit platform in particular. How to save energy with HomeKit accessories and automation.
Mm-hmm. This is great. And this is just a HomeKit specific article. I think a lot of the tips apply to any types of products that you get, but iMore being iMore, they're all HomeKit. But I think the thing that I like the most about this is the fact that I have these and haven't thought about it very much is the energy monitoring part of the process of a smart plug that you can get. Especially, again, a lot of these are going to be on sale. So I think this kind of thing makes a lot of difference. But just, I think a big thing that I always struggle with is feeling like it has to be dedicated to that spot. So if you get a smart plug and you want to use it with a light or something like that, it has to make sense for that light. And then that's only the way you control it. And anything else doesn't really make sense. But for me, this article was a reminder, and a couple of my own personal experiences over the last couple months is just moving that smart plug and using it as an energy monitor just for a week or two to just have awareness of what that specific product is doing. And for us, particularly, it's space heaters because we don't have central heating. Pretty sure the floor furnace that we have is, somebody came and was like, this is incredibly dangerous and nobody will fix this. So maybe some of your concerns in the past have been justified, Mikah, but I think the space heater thing is a big thing for us right now. And so we do want to know how much is this going to cost us if we have to run space heaters like the entire winter as opposed to something like that. And so moving it around in between different spaces just to check how much it's going to use there, or if you need to heat up one space more than the other, can be really good tests with smart plugs. Another one too, they're talking about just contact sensors for your doors. We have one door that, particularly when we keep it closed, keeps most of the house a lot warmer than if it's open. All of the heat will just kind of escape out there. So just understanding at any time of day, is this door closed, is a good thing. And then they go on to talk about climate control stuff if you do have central heating and everything, to just have it automatically warm up or do it at strategic times and then turn off and throw on a sweater and bundle up. Like maybe you have a light that changes a certain color, so you remember to put on a sweater or something like that. So yeah, just good tips, especially. I mean, I want to do a long-term test of how much smart lights actually cost in energy when they're off, because that's one thing that always is kind of sitting in the back of my head is how much are these drawing energy, even when if I have 100 HomeKit things, but they're all turned off, they're all still on HomeKit waiting for electricity and stuff. But I think compared to incandescent lights, probably makes the difference. So yeah, pretty straightforward article from iMore, but we're thinking about going into the winter too and Black Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. I am also excited to say, so Morass is quickly becoming one of these companies to watch when it comes to smart home products that don't cost you an arm, a leg, and a kidney, but can still provide you with some excitement, some good stuff. And now they have a HomeKit-enabled LED light strip that is it looks like it's a one color situation in terms of what it can display at once, but it is one of the most affordable versions that I've seen, which is really quite nice.
I am trying to find, this is always the question, is how many lumens does it put out? And the fact that they don't mention it is always something to be concerned about. So I do think these ones are like secondary lighting, not going to be the thing that you should try to truly light up the home. It's say this is a perfect vibe product. It's, you want to have the blue light kind of thing. And I think the important thing too is I think it said it was 16 feet each, which is wild. So these are very long. Pack. Oh yeah, there's 30 feet of cable for $50. That is totally like, if you want to put something all over your kitchen, you could totally get one of these for fairly cheap. So, and it's HomeKit enabled. I think I didn't notice, but they say it in the description. Apple Home app cannot set the real color temperature right now. Morass is pushing Apple to solve this issue before this December. Just called out in the Amazon description is hilarious. But I can see it makes sense. It's not like the best light strip out there, but these are Morass's, like you said, is inserting themselves nicely into the space as I'd say, I don't want to say, yeah, it's not cheap, but it's low cost and a budget alternative kind of thing. Yeah, pretty solid.
Let's see. So it's each strip is 5 meters. Yeah, so each one is a little bit more than 16 feet. And you get 2 of them. So yeah, you could really, that's pretty cool. You can really kind of have it take up, I have a perfect place for this. I think I'm going to have to get one of these. 32.8 feet total. My main kind of living space, it runs from the living room to the dining room to the kitchen. But between the living room and dining room, there's this little part in the ceiling that sticks out. It's where they've got, a vent inside for the HVAC. And so right underneath that ledge, to run an LED light strip along there and just provide a little bit of ambiance, if you will, will be pretty cool. So I'm going to have to get one of these and show that off when the time comes.
Also, something we didn't mention earlier with the Black Friday stuff is a lot of things, it depends on the company, but for Amazon, they have a lot of returns now through January. So that is a big thing, is that you can test these products and return them if you don't enjoy them for a pretty extended period of time.
Yes. Let's see what's next. Oh, Apple has listed the Eufy Cam, the Pro system, on its site. And of course, this is one of the products that has HomeKit Secure Video. Eufy Cam has quickly become one of the most popular camera systems that's available, and one of the first to offer support of HomeKit Secure Video across its lineup. I think watching that change happen so quickly, I've been very impressed with Eufy, which of course is owned by Anker. And it's been pretty cool to see that, this sort of, what is the word I'm looking for? This sort of pivot, or not even a pivot really, but just flipping on the switches and doing the things that need to be done to make sure that it will be available has been pretty cool. And it makes it easy to recommend these products as your option for adding a HomeKit Secure Video system to your household.
Definitely. Just having that Apple stamp of approval is always nice. And 9to5 Mac notes that this is the first smart home camera made by Anker to be sold by Apple. So it is maybe that brand is a little bit more blessed than previously. I don't know if they'll be selling Morass light strips in the Apple Store. I think that's kind of the difference sometimes. But again, I don't particularly want to spend $350 on smart home cameras right now. So my Wise ones should be here on Wednesday. So that'll be interesting.
Nice.
But again, that's not going to be a HomeKit at all. So
yeah, there are some Homebridge options for the Wise cameras, but they are a little, the camera part of it is not great. I have the plug-in for the actual Wise plugs, and that works great. But the camera plug-in for, the plug-in for the camera, it requires sort of flashing the firmware on the camera, so it's not as elegant a solution. Let's see, one more, and this is definitely a Matthew Cassinelli topic. Why don't you tell us about the improvements to Siri Shortcuts in iOS 14.3?
Okay.
For those not watching, we just saw some arm pumpage from Matthew. Celebrate good times. Come on.
So in iOS 14.3 beta 2, shortcuts that have been added to the home screen now no longer kick open the Shortcuts app. So a big thing that happened when the whole aesthetic home screen thing went viral a couple months ago, and you saw all these videos of people who had completely customized their home screens. Every single one of those icons would open into Shortcuts first before executing the task, which was usually just the open app action to then open that app. So you have a custom icon to open that app. Now, all of those will just immediately open the app if you tap on the icon from Shortcuts on the home screen.
What?
So it's amazing.
That
there will be a little
air horns.
confirmation banner. Yeah, exactly. It's like hard to emphasize. I was writing about this last night for my newsletter, but Shortcuts are mini apps now. And the way that they've always kind of been, now that it's really, you can build a shortcut, add it to your home screen, tap the shortcut, and it will execute its tasks in the background without opening the Shortcuts app, unless there's maybe a couple cases where it will need to, or you could choose to have it do that, but it will, any type of menus or entering in inputs and stuff like that can all happen from the home screen. And so this is wild, and I was tweeting is very dangerous for me because I had previously added every single one of my shortcuts to the home screen and got sick of it because they opened the Shortcuts app every time, and it really wasn't a good experience. And so when this whole trend went viral, everybody was doing that, and I was kind of like I love it, but also I don't want to do that because it has to open the app every time, and it psychologically it is a pain. So that whole thing is gone now. Basically, Apple has a stamp of approval, the same with Anchor's thing is now you can do custom theme packs on iOS. You can have all of your shortcuts on the home screen. You can have shortcuts plus widgets. In case you didn't know, you can have 16 home screens, which pretty sure I have 12 of those set up. And now I'm doing folders and folders of shortcuts. And it really is awesome because for me, it's like what shortcuts should be. It is like mind-blowing because I just made a shortcut that was add to my wish list. Like I'm making a Black Friday Christmas list for my family. I always forget to update it. So I'm making a shortcut to add to that note and create the note for you and all that and share the links in properly is like a great shortcut. But for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, but I have to go into the Shortcuts app and remember to use it. And now I can put that icon on my home screen just for the next 2 weeks, run that shortcut a bunch every time I think of something for my wish list, and I can just add it in there quickly. And so this is great for any of those long-term shortcuts that you want to make. You could build your own, you could design your own custom icon pack for every single thing that you use too. You can set up it's amazing. I'm so excited because this is so cool. It is, for me specifically, tons of smart home stuff now is much easier to use. And you're not constantly trying to use Siri too. That's a big thing is, especially with the smart home, you're trying to use that smart product. But if I just want to have like my office setup, I can just tap one thing and all the lights can turn on and my computer can turn on. And there's so much cool stuff. It's amazing. I'm like right on the verge of relaunching my YouTube stuff. And so I definitely am going to be sharing all about shortcuts now. It's like, there's no good reason not to be using it if you're on iOS. It is a major part of the system. It's so much better now. It works on iPhone, iPad, AirPods, HomePod, CarPlay. You can control your Mac. Like, there's so much cool stuff. This is like why I did this. I tweeted on Friday. It's like, it's so cool to use technology to do more than what you can do by yourself. And that's personally why I have always used iPad and something like whatever form of shortcuts existed, because I want to use this technology to do more. And so this is really, I have always had all this potential, and people are like, yeah, but do you use them? It's like, well, here's your opportunity.
Right.
Right before I was tweeting about this, and Anastasia Folorenzo, probably should have thought of how to pronounce that, but she was asking, I'm torn between taking the time to make shortcuts and completely customizing my home screen and just using widgets only. And I think now, I personally didn't find the time investment worth it for me to do a custom home screen, because of even just like, I have 1,000 shortcuts and it is more taps than the widgets. And also because it would kick you out, there's a lot of cognitive load. I'd say now you can go to town, like especially right before Thanksgiving break is amazing too, because it's just like, if you have some downtime, just sit there and add your shortcuts to the home screen. Maybe the custom icon part, figure out what you would want to do first with the home screen, and then maybe go back and change the custom icons. Like I don't want to set it all up and then start over again, but there's so much to do. And I think this is really the power of iOS, and the ecosystem is coming together, and it's going to be worth rethinking how you use your home screens, because it's totally different than iOS 14 was already so different. And this is what should have been in iOS 14.0, really. It's like a whole new Apple ecosystem world there on the home screen. And somebody else pointed out, this is great for iPad. iPad users basically kind of got left in the dust with widgets, or I've stuffed 100 into the sidebar, but now I can actually customize my iPad home screen the same way. So that's very cool. I'm clearly very excited about this, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. And my newsletter is called What's New in Shortcuts. If you go to matthewcassinelli.com/newsletter, you can sign up there and follow along. And I'm sharing all about this every week I don't want to always saturate the show too much with my shortcut stuff. So there's tons every week there for you guys if you want to join. But yeah,
awesome.
Very exciting. I want to see, we get maybe a TWiT custom icon pack or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something fun there.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the way that I'm thinking of my brother, who was just talking about his custom home screen and, the annoyance of having that interstitial.
Exactly.
But we should also give a shout out to iOS 14.3, because it finally introduces toothbrushing as a data point.
Nice.
So
via
now,
shortcuts, or is it?
Yeah, for shortcuts.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. I
Is that
didn't
what you
notice
mean?
that.
Yeah. So it's so an explainer there. We've talked about it on the show before, but if you hadn't heard, you can. I like using NFC tags to log health data on my iPhone, and for the longest time, the only way to log there are two ways that you could log toothbrushing. One was to have a toothbrush that supported Apple's Health Kit, which was literally one toothbrush for the longest time, and then became two toothbrushes that offered that. And the other way was that you could basically have shortcuts. When you tapped the NFC code, it would just pop up the toothbrush section of the health app. But there is an option within Shortcuts to log health data, and toothbrushing was not an option in there. The only way that you could get to toothbrushing was, like I said, that shortcut. And so I, had talked about how that was so annoying, because what I wanted to be able to do was tap an NFC tag that I had near my toothbrush charger, and then that would log in the health app that I had brushed my teeth, just so that I would have that data. It's not necessarily important, but the quantify itself is exciting, and I like that. So I couldn't do it for the longest time. And I would go every time there was an update, I would go into the app, look and log health data and look for toothbrushing to be added to that list. And finally, in iOS 14.3, that has been added to the list. Unfortunately, in the last beta that I checked it in, it doesn't actually work whenever you do it. It just it errors out. But I have it on good authority that bug has been radared by someone who would be able to get that to be fixed. So thank you to that person. So
there's some other data points too, like runny nose, and this bug one says symptoms, sinus congestions.
All of the symptoms are now data points as well, which is kind of nice.
Ooh,
so
changes?
You could think of it like I like that idea as having that on a thermometer. And so, you have an NFC tag on the thermometer. When you take your temperature and then you tap that NFC tag, it pops up and says, what's the temperature? And then it gives you a list of, are there any symptoms that you want to log with this? And so you could check mark runny nose, you could check mark fever, although you could set it up in shortcuts to do that automatically. Like if the temperature is above this, then log fever as well. So there's a lot of magic you can work there, Matthew. I hope I'm inspiring you here.
I'm literally, I don't know if you saw my face over here, but I'm looking at all the data points. I mean, some just like acne are like, I need that still. I think a lot of the symptom stuff, that's just amazing because Quantify itself is like actually having real data makes so much of a difference. That's the thing that I've learned in the past few years is that I just don't, like, as much as I'd love to be the most reliable narrator of my life, the data points show a lot of different, or just like sometimes subtle things that make a difference. And so being able to mark dizziness, fainting, fatigue stuff is super important. Even just like appetite issues, that is a lot of things that if you can properly correlate those with what you did and in your own way, maybe not some random company doing it, but just like, oh, last week I had this food and then I felt terrible afterwards, and I have that data and like how long it took and that kind of stuff. That's really cool. That's health stuff is mind-blowingly important. And even the toothbrushing thing is just logging it. The act of doing it is a guarantee that you're going to be doing it as much as you need to, and you can have the real data and that kind of thing. So that's very cool.
While Matthew continues to get inspired by looking through this list, we'll take a quick break here because I want to tell you Smart Tech Today is brought to you by RemoteWorks. RemoteWorks is a podcast that tells extraordinary stories of teams that made the shift to working remotely. And I was lucky enough to get a sneak preview of season 2 of RemoteWorks. And in the same way that I was just talking about Matthew checking out that list of getting inspired, I think that's one of the fun things about this podcast is you end up learning that folks are doing stuff remotely in ways that you maybe never thought of, and some of the industries that you maybe never thought of how they would work remotely. It's just been really interesting to listen to. So in the season 2 premiere, Racing into a New World of Work, host Melanie Green speaks with Aston Martin Red Bull racing drivers Max Verstappen and Alex Albon about what the pandemic taught them about adapting to working differently. Christian Horner, Aston Martin Red Bull racing team principal, shares insight into how he kept his team close when half of them were suddenly forced to work remotely. Hint: having the right technology is key, as you might imagine. And check out the second episode of season 2 called Remote Work Extreme Arctic Edition. Picture living in a tiny hut built in the 1930s with no running water, no electricity. The nearest town is 86 miles away, and your nearest neighbors are polar bears. This is their home office in the heart of Svalbard, Norway. I'm sorry, Norwegians, if I mispronounced that town. And in fact, here is a clip from that episode.
Sunniva comes from Squamish, British Columbia, a community of 19,000 people. Then this opportunity came along, the chance to live in this remote location and collect data to help scientists. This was a chance to make their contribution to fighting climate change. So they packed up and moved to Bumsaboo, and they've had to learn how to work with a lot of extremely complicated technology.
You'll even learn about digital nomads working from the beach in Barbados, Bali, and beyond. That sounds fun. It's not just stories about remote work, though. Each episode is full of insight and advice that you can apply to your work and to your team. Distributed work, of course, brings its challenges, but it also represents opportunity. That's what Remote Works is all about, helping you find new ways to work, to collaborate, and discover new possibilities. Folks, search for Remote Works anywhere you listen to podcasts and download each episode today. That's Remote Works. Download it today. Of course, our thanks to Remote Works for their support of Smart Tech Today. We do appreciate it. All righty, we are both rocking these palm-sized smart speakers, the newest edition of the HomePod from Apple, the HomePod Mini, and boy, is it mini. Matthew wants to, he's got a little white one. They're so cute. They could be best friends. And these are, this is Apple's take on the $99 smart speaker. Otherwise known as the Apple Navel Orange, as I feel it is. And what is that? Is that an AirTag on the bottom? No, I'm just kidding. That's just the base of the device. Yeah, Matthew, what do you think about the new HomePod Mini?
It's a very interesting product, and I'm finding myself slightly torn because I'm big on the original HomePod. But I think it all makes sense still, but I think it just comes down to where I'll personally end up isn't necessarily where I originally thought. So I do think almost everything about this product is right. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it's kind of about the intention of the product, because to me, one of the hardest things is using an original HomePod and switching to a mini is just like going to be slightly, I don't want to say worse because it still sounds really good, but there's just not the same amount of bass. And to kind of lead with my conclusion is, in a very simple way, these don't make me want to dance the same way the original HomePod does. And I think some of the way it fills the space and the sound always is like, I can't help but want to dance. And I think the HomePod does everything except for that little bit. And so I think that's what's interesting. But of course, it's $99 instead of $300. And so that alone is like, yes, this is great. Me particularly, I've been trying to replace a single HomePod on my desk with a stereo pair. So I've got one white one and one black one just to kind of see how I feel about those as well. And I do think it sounds really good as a stereo pair. Even a single one does the same kind of projecting the sound beyond its space and what should come out of a speaker like this. I think it really does come down to, though, just it doesn't have the same amount of bass. And for many people, that's going to be the benefit, is because it just rattles your desk or the space or down below to where you are. And so for a lot of apartments or small spaces, it's just not a realistic thing. Also, of course, price, but these do seem suited for those smaller spaces. I think the part that is getting me is that the fact that the Mac uses system audio from one HomePod only. So if you have a stereo pair, it basically can't do the same processing for something that's live or just like random sound effects to a stereo pair of HomePods. And so you have to pick left or right. And to me, that is just suddenly like my YouTube video is coming from over there. And so it won't solve the problem of being a Mac computer speaker. It can be from iTunes, you can AirPlay to both devices. And so it can control those the way that you would expect. But I think that one little hook has me like, ooh, I want this on my desk. Maybe I'll just keep one. But even then, I want to use music to motivate me during the day to want to, I don't know, like I'm a creator who's trying to make stuff about things I love. And so being in that kind of mindset makes a lot. And I've just noticed, interestingly, from coming from the AirPods Pro, is if you take them out, it sounds worse. Like what you hear with those headphones in, the HomePod Mini doesn't match up to that level. And so I noticed that I was like, specifically with Apple's other products, I want to hear the music the same way I'm hearing it in my headphones. And then it's suddenly like, specifically, I love Anderson .Paak, and he's used in all the Apple commercials too. And there's just some of the songs where on the HomePod, when like the bass comes in, I feel myself like want to dance because it just like drops. And then the HomePod one, I was like, and then it just like is flat and on the bass side, and the rest of it still sounds great, but it just didn't like move me in the same way. So
yeah,
but I still think for almost every other space, for the kitchen, I think a Mini is going to be great. I think for entryway, or I got to compare against my whole home audio system for television things with the HomePod, main HomePods being a stereo pair, but I don't think it'll fill a television setup type of situation. So it's a very interesting product because it also is still a Siri speaker. Like that's what I love, is having that Siri access anywhere. I haven't done the same microphone testing where I'm pretty sure I can stand in my bedroom and like almost face the wall opposite direction. And then the HomePod is like downstairs in the TV room around corners. And if I like yell the wrong way, the HomePod downstairs can hear me. So that's like full home coverage to me, was what I wrote in my initial review. So I'm interested I've had some Siri misses with this too, just because I think it can't hear me as much. And some of the stuff like spatial audio too, I really can hear, and I didn't think I would. Like one of my iPad was in front of the HomePod, and it sounded, because I had the pair, it sounded like the audio was coming from like 30 degrees to the right, because it couldn't map it around it or something like that. But I still feel like I'm saying a bunch of negative things, because I think it's an amazing product still. It's the audio quality for this price, I still think will blow away Echo or Google Home in that area. I'll have to do my official testing, but just it really is like the same HomePod experience, but just kind of like minus the thumping bass, which for some people is the benefit, because even psychologically, I noticed the volume matches what you would set it at, which sounds silly, but with the HomePod, it's so loud that like 17% is really like 15 or 50% of a HomePod Mini. I noticed that too with listening to stuff on my AirPods and the HomePod Mini. It was like, it was nice to set it to 50%, and it felt like it was half the volume that I needed for this space. But I think that, yeah, exactly. Like the HomePod, if you set it to 50%, it would be like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're gonna blow away the home. So that has been like, I'm not worried about. Even Siri is quieter at night. She's not screaming throughout the house. I'm sorry, I couldn't set that up for you. You should check in Wi-Fi or settings if it's not. It's like, oh my God, please shut up. So it just being quieter is great in that regard. But it's very fascinating. Like I think everybody who is in the market for a HomePod Mini wouldn't be upset having one. But I think it's the kind of product that does push you up the ladder. Maybe this is Apple's strategy. It's like, well, now you still want a HomePod to like really listen to music, I think. So I'm a little torn. I got to figure out how this will work for me, because I was hoping it was going to be like a killer, like it'd be a same HomePod but smaller, and I could still like get that feeling. And I think that the HomePod just does such a good job at eliciting that feeling that by contrast, it almost feels like it's missing that. But I think it's way more affordable, way more realistic. And I hope people get the Siri speaker. Like I saw somebody was like, wow, it's great to say home commands to Siri throughout the house. And I was like, oh yeah, some people are just experiencing this, especially Apple users. If they never had an Echo, this could be the first time you had a smart speaker in your house. So it's a whole new world for all those people. And there's tons of shortcuts stuff too. All the handoff stuff is amazing, and you can do it remotely with shortcuts with NFC tags, like you were saying, if you're not nearby. So there's a lot of opportunity there. But it's like, I still want to listen to my main HomePod. It makes me I just love music. And so you got to have that feeling to Yeah, I don't know. I just love it.
When Apple introduced Home Theater, which is this new way to basically tell your Apple TV, look, I always want you to use my HomePod as the audio output.
Mm-hmm.
That is when things clicked for me in terms of the HomePod, not the HomePod Mini, but the HomePod, and has me looking for a Black Friday deal on getting a second HomePod. Right now, I only have one HomePod. I never planned on getting another HomePod ever, but like of that size, I mean. But given how well it works and how good it sounds to have a stereo pair of HomePods that I can also play music from is kind of what I want to do. And so it's been interesting how at the same time that the HomePod Mini rolled out, that's not the product that I've really been focusing on. And instead it's made me even more appreciative of my HomePod. Totally. That said, one of the things that the HomePod Mini is touting is support for Thread. And
yes,
I am in the midst of coming to an even deeper understanding of how Thread works. I've gone through some code labs and things like that with the Open Thread protocol, just to really kind of understand what it all means with border routers and the sort of multi router system where any device can kind of take over the network as it needs to keep everything patched together. But some early looks at things show how quickly, because the latest round of LifeX products, those LifeX Essential, which include, or is it? No, it's Nanoleaf. Sorry, Nanoleaf Essential. They are Thread-enabled products, and so you get a HomePod Mini, and you get these Nanoleaf Essentials. And the HomePod Mini becomes the method of communication with them. And it's, in many cases, faster than Wi-Fi and certainly faster than Bluetooth in communicating with those devices. So as more products add on support for Thread, I think we're going to continue to see some lickety-split latency.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's improvement for everybody. And again, takes it to the next level on getting more people wanting to use and understanding the value of the smart home. Because as I've said many times, that delay is one of the biggest things that makes someone go, why do I need to, why? If I can do this from a switch that makes it happen instantly, what's the point of doing it any other way? So I love it. I'm excited about it, and I'm continuing to research it myself to better understand it, and hoping that maybe it's a little too early to say this for sure, but hoping to have someone on the show to talk about Thread in a big way. So, well, there'll be more of that later, depending on how things go.
Have you had a chance to test the speakers together, like the Google Home and the Amazon ones that you got?
Yes. I'm not gonna reveal anything. So the reason why it's because there's another tease. I will be doing a video review for Hands on Tech of, let's see, what's the best way to turn here? Probably this way. So here I've got the I've got the new Amazon Echo. Nice, Burke, which is a $99 smart speaker. And there I've got the Nest Audio, which is a $99 smart speaker. And then I just had in my hand the HomePod Mini, which is a $99 smart speaker. And so I'll be comparing the three because they both, or all of them, tout, really good audio quality. That was one of the standout features of the Nest Audio, and not only that, but the standout of the Pixel event was the Nest Audio. Amazon rather touted its new Echo as having better audio, and that's why it's orb shaped. And so I will be talking about kind of how they all sound in comparison to one another, and sort of which $99 smart speaker you should spring for. What was this article from Dan Morin?
I just was reading it. It's through Apple News Plus, which is like one of the first ones I've actually read now, I think, since I got the Premier subscription. But I thought it was just some of the points about, like, he was saying that the Home on the top you can still accidentally touch it, but I was like, they do have a raised lip now so that you're not just immediately brushing your hand over the top of the HomePod Mini and turning on music incredibly loud, also like the normal HomePods. So I do appreciate that. And some subtle stuff are like the plus and minus volume controls are actually etched onto the screen, or I think it's inside. I'm not sure if it's a physical thing that you can like feel with your fingernail, but so there's a little bit more just like obvious control. I mean, it's so much smaller now too that tapping in the right place makes a difference. But
I think the fact though that there aren't any physical, it's an accessibility concern. If you want to have physical, I mean,
like feedback,
then,
or
well, so of course you can. I mean, keep in mind, as we know, you can use your voice to turn up and down the volume, but think about a person with low or no vision who would want to turn up or down the volume. They can't necessarily see right where those minus and pluses are. Whereas on both, actually, no, I think it's just, it's just the Echo. The Nest Audio also doesn't have physical keys, but the Echo has physical sort of silicone buttons on the top for plus, minus, and mute. I would also argue that with the Nest Audio, it's a little bit easier because essentially on one side of the pillow, I'm not going to go back there. On one side of the pillow shape at the top, you just sort of smack it and it turns it down, and on the other. So you could reach out and feel the top of it and know that the left side of that pillow shape is something that you can smack to turn down, and the right side is something that you can smack to turn up. Whereas the HomePod Mini, you try to feel it and you're already registering touches. And so then maybe you've paused the music. So it's not as, it's certainly more elegant, but that is a little bit less user-friendly, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
in that specific way.
I will say there's probably some shortcuts or voiceover accessibility things that you could set up to if that was your main concern, which was nice. Like, I do think, I mean, I should go back and reread the HomePod review that I wrote in 2018, because I think every single thing I said stands up, because I was like, it's going to get updated over time. You're not going to sell a better, more expensive HomePod. And so that's what's just fascinating to me, especially in that time. My HomePod has gotten better because of shortcuts and those types of updates. And I want to see competition on the, I don't want to say smart assistant. I want to say personal assistant, because they get, a lot of those companies do blow Siri herself out of the water with Googling things, for example, or purchasing things from Amazon logically. But I do think, I tweeted this morning, the Amazon account appointed, sorry. We'll bleep that out. But they tweeted like a morning or a daily routine, and it was like, turn on the lights, do this other stuff, play Marco Polo, ask trivia questions. And I posted my daily routine with shortcuts, which involves a lot of work and turning on actual products and not just playing Marco Polo and stuff. So I was kind of being tongue in cheek of like, here's how you can do actual work with shortcuts. And the HomePod can be an important part of that too. I shared last night, over secure shell scripting, you can use your iPhone to turn on your Mac and things like that a lot of people don't know about. So that all can work with HomePod. You can say it as you walk into the room, have all your lights turn on and the computer and everything. So it's some pretty cool stuff. Like, that's always been my thing, is the HomePod is, to me, it's clearly what the original one was, very expensive, but it's still always been a fantastic high fidelity quality speaker that I didn't need anything more than that. And so getting something less than that obviously is like, I already had the best thing I wanted, and this is a more affordable way to bring that into more spaces and to more people too. So I think the HomePod Mini I personally think it's going to sell like hotcakes. We'll see how your showdown goes, but I'm looking forward to that.
Let's take a quick break, because I want to tell you about Armor Lock. The privacy of your data is, of course, constantly being threatened. Imagine if your valuable media files or important documents were stolen and got into the wrong hands. Not great. People want to know their content is safe now more than ever. G Technology gives you professional-grade storage solutions that empower studios, professional photographers, videographers, and editors to thrive in high-pressure, creative environments. All of that is to say that G Technology's new ArmorLock encrypted NVMe SSD, of course, that's solid-state drive, is really awesome. Paired that with the app, and you have high-grade data security with pro-grade performance in a super simple package for anyone to use. In fact, it's super easy to unlock the ArmorLock with your phone, leveraging modern-day digital experiences. It's just like digital door locks or digital car keys or digital hotel keys. With ArmorLock, your phone is your key. You won't need to remember passwords or download software that slows you down. You just open the ArmorLock app on your phone or your Mac, you tap the button to unlock, and off you go. ArmorLock's SSD is built to withstand the rigors of travel as well, including being shipped or accidentally dropped, which we all have been known to do. It's ultra rugged for max durability and reliability, and it's IP67 dust and water resistant. And I don't know if you can see there on the screen if you're watching, but those yellow grooves, those aren't just a design feature. Those are the actual heat sinks of the device. So they are on display, but they are very important for the actual health and safety of that device. Best of all, the SSD is equipped with high-grade 256-bit AES XTS hardware encryption, so you know your data has the best protection out there. Look, ArmorLock leverages the biometric authentication that you already have set up on your phone, making unlocking the drive a frictionless experience. You don't have to compromise speed for security now. ArmorLock gives you both simultaneously, ensuring you get the high-grade security you deserve with the pro-grade speeds your workflow demands. Collaboration is key when working on productions or team projects, so ArmorLock lets you control who gets access to the drive, even if they're in a different location. Easily authorize remote users prior to shipping the drive, and once it arrives, it's super easy for them to unlock. Because they manufacture their own flash technology and SSDs, you can be confident that its products are built from the ground up with specifically selected elements to create the best, most consistent product experience. And by the way, the ArmorLock recently won the Consumer Innovation Award at the Flash Memory Summit, which of course is the place to judge flash memory. So to win that Consumer Innovation Award is a big deal. The last thing you need is, well, frankly, leaked films or lost or stolen drives. Take control of your data privacy with G Technology's ArmorLock NVMe SSD solid-state drive. Go to getarmorlock.com, super easy website to learn more and get yours today. That's getarmorlock.com. Seriously, such a beautiful looking solid-state drive, but it's not just beauty, folks. She is beauty, she is grace, and she is one of the fastest that you can get with all of those features as well. So simple to use, but secure and lickety split quick. Thank you so much, ArmorLock, for sponsoring this episode of Smart Tech Today. All righty, let's talk about our picks of the week. I'll go first. So sure. I originally was going to be talking about something else, and while we were going, I got a notification on my phone that said, hey, I've detected someone at your front door. And so I popped open the little thing to see who it was, and it was someone walking up to my porch and tossing a package at my front door. Luckily, it was nothing, that would break, and I'm very excited to have one of Waymo's latest products, which is the Waymo Wi-Fi Smart Plug. So this is Belkin's Waymo company, and for the longest time, they've had Wi-Fi smart plugs, but they were pretty wide. And so, they take up kind of a lot of space and were not, the best looking things. And so I wanted to try out the new Wi-Fi smart plug. It works with Alexa, it works with the Google Assistant, and it works with Apple HomeKit. So I opened this thing, not sure what exactly to expect. And when I saw how dadgum small it is, this tiny little plug is going to be so great. I'm so impressed that they've been able to pack in the Wi-Fi technology into this little bitty device. And it's still got the power button on the side. But what this means essentially is that you can have, 2 of these plugged into your normal Wi-Fi, your normal electrical outlets without them being packed or cramped. And it's honestly beautiful. I'm very impressed with it. And right now, it's normally, I think, $24.99, but right now, Belkin has a sale. They're available for $15. That is quite a deal on a smart plug. Absolutely, you should go and get 1 or more of these to try out or make your smart plug of choice. Unlike the iDevices smart plug, which has an LED light strip, and as I always talk about, one of the things that I like is that the plug is on the side, so it doesn't become a wall wart. This does not have an LED light switch. Light strip, and the plug is on the front, but because it's so small, you're not getting a huge wall wart with it. Yeah. And so I'm just really impressed with how tiny this thing is, and looking forward to plugging it in, especially given that it's their latest technology, and you don't have to have a hub. It's all built right into the device. So, yeah,
this is cool. I'm interested in these. I saw them at CES, and I was like, they need some new ones of these. I personally would recommend people avoid buying the old ones. And yes, I don't totally know why, but this is a complex feeling because I still trust Belkin and I want to buy these new ones. I'm pretty sure the original Wemo ones are like the oldest smart home thing I own. And so pretty much I think for the last 3 to 6 months, most of them have just not worked half the time. We had one for our bedroom sound machine. I have ones for both of the lights I use for here. Currently, 1 out of the 4 of them is working. I think one of them is unplugged because it also wasn't working. But I think they're like reaching end of life or something with the connectivity. These would all very much benefit from Thread, particularly because they're Wi-Fi only. I'm interested in replacing these. I might do 1 or 2 at a time and then decide if I want to continue with this, because that is, like, I will say, has been a pain in the butt. It's like how we go to sleep, our automations, how I turn on my videos. Those are all key things that I use every single day. And when it doesn't work, it's like, and it's like it was trying to update its firmware for like 3 months or something, but still didn't really. So I'm very interested because Belkin is a great brand. But I will say, if you can see the new ones or the old ones on Black Friday sale, probably don't go for those and get these newer ones.
I agree with him 100%. And in fact, if you go on Amazon and try to find these new Waymo Wi-Fi smart plugs, they're not there. So I've included a link to Belkin where you can get them with that sale. And that's the place that I recommend that you go to get this plug, because it's not on Amazon. And I imagine that that's because Belkin's trying to kick the stock of its older ones. Yeah. Woch is, exactly, I think, not a good look in my opinion, but
they're in that realm of a brand. I'd say you probably would do something like that, where it's like they just have so many of these.
Exactly.
They're still could be okay, but it's just you might have a hard time with the older ones. So word of warning.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
Mine is the Eve Room, and I must have talked about this 3 to 4 times on this show, but it really is making a difference right now to have this product, because it is measuring the temperature inside of the room that we're currently in. We have it in our living room downstairs, but like I was saying, I have furnace problems. We are using space heaters. And so this plus a smart plug to understand how much electricity we're using is a major benefit to us right now, because we can know for sure, okay, it's like 64.5 degrees. Let's use a blanket and sweaters instead of throwing on the space heater constantly just to keep it within a couple temperature difference. Like we do naturally keep it warm at a certain point. So that's been a real smart part of my experience, was moving this. It's been in our bedroom for humidity control, but now I'm temporarily using it to understand this along with the smart plug thing. So that's like a great example of reusing the same product to get more out of it. And then I might end up buying another one because now I kind of want to have temperature measurements in both rooms all the time. So I will say Eve did send me that one, which I appreciate, but if they do put this on sale over the next week, I'm going to be snagging one up for sure.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, I think that I've consulted the charts, and it looks like that brings us to the end of another episode of Smart Tech Today. As I mentioned, we are collecting questions for a question and answer episode again, and you've all been sending in some really great questions. So keep that up. If you've got some more for us, you can send those to stt@twit.tv. Super simple. You can send it as just text. You could send in audio, video, keep those under 30 seconds so we don't have to edit them down. Of course, you can check out the show live by tuning in at twit.tv live every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific. But the best way to get the show is to get it on your own time. And to do that, you just subscribe. You head to twit.tv/STT. And you can subscribe to the show in both audio and video formats on any of the platform or provider that you use. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or everywhere you want to be. And we do appreciate you for doing that. Now, Matthew Cassinelli, if folks want to follow you online and check out all your great work, where do they go to do that?
People should sign up for my newsletter, as I mentioned before. It's matthewcassinelli.com/newsletter. And I've got my personal one there that I'm kicking up again soon to keep all the shortcut stuff in that dedicated newsletter. But I'm sharing new shortcuts every week. Got some new ones for the set wallpaper actions that just came out last week. So definitely sign up, and got a new membership release coming too. So I'll be talking about that in there. What about you?
Do it. I've done it. It's great. I love it. Every Sunday, I check my email before I go to bed, and there's a new email from Matthew.
I'm right up there at the edge. I've been putting a lot in there on Sundays, so I'm going to be trying to get that out in the mornings. But it's kind of like a weekend fun.
Hey, it comes on Sunday.
Stuff.
That's all that matters. I am at Mikah Sargent on pretty much all of the social media networks, or you can head to chihuahua.coffee, CHIHUAHUA.coffee, which is a place where I've got links to all the different places I exist online. Folks, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Smart Tech Today. All that is left is to say good afternoon to all of your smart assistants. And I've got 3 behind me.
Siri, show's over. Oh, my Wii plug didn't work.
Oh, no. Speak of the devil.
Of course.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Tech News Weekly here on twit.tv, along with my co-host, Mikah Sargent. Each and every week, we talk to people who are making and breaking the tech news. It could be journalists writing amazing tech stories. It could be experts. It could be the sources of the stories themselves, developers, you name it. We bring them onto the show, and we talk to them about why their story is resonating with the world. You can watch and subscribe by going to twit.tv/TNW. Make sure you do that, and you won't miss a single episode. We'll see you there.